Darkness descends, and quick scare emerges from the shadows once again. Grab your blankets and settle in for a night of bone-chilling stories that will leave you questioning reality. I've been a long-time lurker on this sub, but something happened to me recently that I can't keep to myself. I never thought I'd be sharing a story like this, but here we go. It was a typical Friday night. I had just finished a long week at work and was looking forward to a relaxing weekend. My wife, Sarah, and I decided to catch up on some shows and enjoy a quiet night in. Little did we know that our peaceful evening was about to take a sinister turn. Around 11:30 p.m., we heard a faint sound outside, like someone shuffling around. At first, we dismissed it as the usual neighborhood noises, but as the minutes passed, the sounds became more distinct and unsettling. My curiosity got the better of me, so I decided to take a quick look out the window. What I saw sent a chill down my spine. There was a shadowy figure lingering near our backyard. The strange part was that the person seemed to be wearing a hood and moving with purpose, avoiding the streetlights. My instincts kicked in, and I whispered to Sarah, telling her to stay quiet. I grabbed a baseball bat we kept by the door, just in case. As I approached the back door, I noticed it was slightly ajar. Panic set in as I realized we had left it unlocked after taking out the trash earlier. My heart raced as I pushed the door open slowly, trying not to make a sound. The intruder was inside our house. I tiptoed through the darkened hallway, my mind racing with thoughts of protecting Sarah and myself. The dim glow of the TV in the living room revealed a silhouette standing near the staircase. Without thinking, I swung the bat, making contact with the intruder's arm. They let out a yelp of pain, and as they turned toward me, I caught a glimpse of their face. To my horror, it was someone I recognized, my next-door neighbor, Mr. Anderson. He looked as shocked as I felt. I demanded an explanation, but he just stammered, insisting he thought our house was his own. It sounded absurd, but Mr. Anderson had been suffering from dementia, and his confusion was getting worse. Feeling a mix of fear and sympathy, I helped him back to his house and alerted his family. They were incredibly apologetic and thanked me for handling the situation calmly. Despite the bizarre and unsettling encounter, it seemed like a simple case of mistaken identity due to Mr. Anderson's deteriorating mental state. Fast forward a few weeks, and we had installed a security system, double-checked our locks, and had a conversation with Mr. Anderson's family about keeping a closer eye on him. Everything seemed to be settling back to normal. That is until we received an anonymous letter in the mail. The letter detailed the night of the home invasion in chilling detail, describing the layout of our house, the sequence of events, and even mentioning the baseball bat I used to defend myself. It concluded with a haunting message. Mistakes happen, but not all surprises are innocent. Watch your back. Suddenly, the fear that had dissipated returned tenfold. We contacted the police, but without concrete evidence, they couldn't do much. The letter had no fingerprints and the postmark was from a neighboring town. We were left in a state of constant paranoia, unsure of who could be watching us. Months passed, and nothing out of the ordinary occurred. We began to let our guard down, thinking the letter was just a sick prank. That's when we received another envelope. This time, it contained a photo, a picture of me swinging the baseball bat at Mr. Anderson that fateful night. The message beneath the photo read, "You can't protect her forever." The police were involved once again, but the investigation led to dead ends. We considered moving, changing our names, anything to escape the relentless fear that gripped us. But the final twist came when we received a call from Mr. Anderson's family. They had found him dead in his home, an apparent suicide. In his possession, they discovered a detailed journal outlining his obsession with our lives. He had been meticulously planning the invasion, driven by a delusional belief that he could protect us from an unknown danger. The letter and photo were his twisted way of asserting control, even from beyond the grave. As relieved as we were to finally have an explanation, the horror of the entire ordeal lingered. The idea that someone we knew, someone we trusted, could harbor such dark intentions was beyond comprehension. The scariest part was realizing that the true threat had come from within our supposedly safe community. So that's the story of the night I'll never forget. A home invasion that turned out to be a chilling manifestation of a neighbor's deteriorating sanity. The fear, the paranoia, and the unexpected twist have left us scarred, reminding us that sometimes the most terrifying threats are the ones closest to home. Stay safe out there and always trust your instincts. I've been debating whether or not to share this story, but I think it's time to get it off my chest. It happened a few months ago, and I haven't been the same since. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else. I've always felt safe here, leaving my doors unlocked without a second thought. That all changed one fateful night. It was a Friday, and I had just finished a late-night gaming session. The clock read 2 a.m. as I crawled into bed, ready to embrace the sweet escape of sleep. Little did I know, my peaceful slumber was about to be shattered. Around 3:30 a.m., I was abruptly awakened by the sound of creaking floorboards. My heart raced as I strained to listen, convinced I was just imagining things. But then I heard it, the unmistakable sound of footsteps in my living room. I lay frozen in bed, fear gripping me like a vice. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what was happening. I hadn't heard any glass breaking or doors being forced open, so how the hell did someone get into my house? With each passing moment, the footsteps drew closer to my bedroom door. The adrenaline coursing through my veins was suffocating. My eyes darted around the room, desperate for some sort of plan. That's when I remembered my phone on the nightstand. I slowly reached for it, praying the screen wouldn't illuminate the room. I dialed 911 as quietly as I could, whispering my address and the situation to the operator. They assured me that help was on the way, but the agonizing minutes that followed felt like an eternity. The footsteps reached my bedroom door, and I held my breath, my entire body tensed. The doorknob turned, and the door swung open. The room was pitch black, and I could only make out the silhouette of a person standing in the doorway. My heart pounded in my ears as I clutched the phone, desperately waiting for the police to arrive. The intruder remained still for what felt like an eternity, as if they were sizing me up. The only sound was the low hum of my computer in the corner. Suddenly, the intruder spoke in a hushed tone. "I know you're scared, but you need to listen to me." I was paralyzed with fear, unable to respond. The voice was strangely calm, sending shivers down my spine. "I didn't break in here to hurt you. I came to warn you. They're watching you, and you need to leave. Now," the intruder continued. I couldn't comprehend what I was hearing. Who was watching me? Why were they warning me? Before I could muster a response, the sound of approaching sirens pierced the air. The intruder's eyes widened and they turned to leave. As the police stormed into my house, the intruder vanished into the shadows. The officers searched the premises but found no sign of forced entry or any indication that someone had been in my home. I was left with more questions than answers. Who was the intruder, and why did they warn me? Was this some sick prank, or was there a real threat lurking in the darkness? In the weeks that followed, I lived in constant paranoia, always looking over my shoulder. I moved to a different city, hoping to escape whatever danger had haunted me that night. To this day, I don't know who the intruder was or what they were trying to protect me from. The only thing I'm certain of is that some secrets are better left in the shadows. If Quick Scare sent shivers down your spine, show some love by liking, commenting on the story that gave you chills, and subscribing for a regular dose of fear. Stay wary, and may your nights be filled with delicious dread.